the Plaza del Toros is the biggest bull ring in Mexico and actually in North America. But there's a bigger bull on the scene in 2021, and that is Mexican driver Sergio Perez. Red Bull Racing have been through a bit of a torrid time switching their drivers in the last few years. It all kicked off, of course, in 2016 when Max Verstappen was replaced Daniel Kvyat at Red Bull Racing. And this is when Trading Places Part 1, or Trading Places might be our word, but nevertheless, the driver swap Part 1 started. Then they couldn't be happier with anyone that they had in. A few good years, of course, went by with Max and Daniel. Pierre Gasly replaced Daniel Ricciardo, who, of course, went to Renault in 2019. But again, they weren't happy with him. Trading Places 2.0 started yet again when they replaced him with young Thai British driver Alex Albon. He was at the team for a season and a half, and this year he finished with 105 points and 7th place in the World Championship. A good finish for the 24-year-old driver. One of 3 British rookies that came in the season beforehand. He was a really good guy, had a really good smile, but it wasn't good enough. Max finished 5 places higher than him in the World Championship of 2020. Alex only had 1 podium to his name, and that wasn't even a race win, of course, which Max had 2 of them, and all this combined were not enough to keep the young Thai British driver at the team. He was kicked out back to the 3rd place role at Red Bull Race, and now will go to DTM in 2021. He'll be replaced by Sergio Perez, the man who has been in Formula 1 since 2011, immediately present in his first season, and has had an up and down career in Formula 1, of course, going with some different teams, including McLaren, and that wasn't a highlight at all. He won his penultimate race with Racing Point at the Sakhir Grand Prix, and in Abu Dhabi he retired, and that was looking like it was going to be his final race. But thankfully he was signed by the Austrian team, and in 2021 he will line up alongside Max Verstappen. Max has said in the papers a few days ago that he is looking to destroy Sergio Perez in 2021, and this episode will be about, can Sergio Perez mount an attack on Max Verstappen? Is Max true to his word? Can he destroy Sergio Perez? And will he let that happen? It looks like he's let Alex Albon do that, as I say, 7th place to 3rd place in comparison in the 2020 World Championship. He brought in some good points, Alex Albon, but it was all Max who, of course, was fighting and getting Red Bull in that strong position in the Constructors' World Championship. Alex was a likeable driver, but it doesn't seem like he did enough, and he has stepped aside for Sergio, who's had, as I say, a good career in Formula 1. One of his best seasons was, of course, 2012 when he drove with Sauber. Great season with him and Kamui Kobayashi. He got an incredible 2nd place at the 2012 Malaysian Grand Prix, of course, a race that he could have won when he was battling Fernando Alonso up until the very last corner. So, Sergio Perez, can he mount an attack on Max Verstappen? Jordan, it has been a bit of a shock to see Sergio in that seat. We were thinking it was going to go to Alex. Did we think it was going to be up to the task? And of course, was Pierre Gasly good enough to get that? Of course, he is retained. By the way, Pierre is a man who, is involved in all of this. Keep up if you don't. It is a big shock. Alex is no more. He has gone back, as I say, to the 3rd place seat and is good for a 2022 seat. Sergio Perez, of course, this will be his 11th season in Formula 1. It looks like he might not be staying for a very long time. And is he just a seat filler? Is he just here to satisfy Red Bull and get him the points and be a 2nd place driver to Max Verstappen? So, as I say, Max has said he's going to destroy Sergio. Can Sergio mount a challenge? And is that destroying just for the papers, or is Max looking to destroy his new Mexican teammate?
Well, certainly there's a lot to go through, isn't there, with Sergio Perez, going to Red Bull. And Red Bull are always the one to go with their driver program. So getting Sergio Perez is certainly something that they have really considered, and they have looked at and went, look, something's not quite right here. We need to go off in a different direction. But from what they've said, future-wise, could they go back down to their old selves? Well, will remain to be seen. I mean, Verstappen's comments, saying he's going to destroy Sergio Perez. I think every single driver will be saying that with their teammates. They want to destroy their teammate because that's their main rival, isn't it? That the driver that they're driving alongside in the same team. So that's just nothing new from Max Verstappen. He has destroyed pretty much everyone he's been with. I think obviously Ricciardo put up a good fight with Max Verstappen. That was definitely very close between those two. But ever since then, Verstappen has destroyed Gasly. He has destroyed Alexander Albon. And rightly so. Max Verstappen, like I said, he's a quality driver. So this one's going to be very interesting, isn't it? Alongside Sergio Perez, someone who is very popular in the Formula 1 paddock and very quick as well. I'm very interested to see how this is going to go down. I really, really am. because we all know what we're talking about is the second Red Bull seat, the mysterious second Red Bull seat. Is that the cursed seat in Formula One? Does anyone want to be there, quite frankly? Because a lot of drivers that came and went, and Verstappen's just, he's remained there since 2016. Ricciardo, Gasly, Albon, and now Sergio Perez. 4 drivers in the space of 4 years, 4 seasons, 4 or 5 seasons. So not really that consistent as well from Red Bull. And I think it's got to really, be down to their decision making. They're just not employing the right drivers at the right time. And is this one going to be different? Is this one going to be different with Sergio Perez? I really don't know. I don't know. I think Perez is going to do better than what Albon and Gasly have had. But if he is well off the pace, like 5-6 tenths away from Max Verstappen, then you're going to question that other Red Bull seat. Is Red Bull really prioritising Verstappen that much that they couldn't give a damn about the driver in the... I mean, they do give a damn, that's a bit of extreme, but you want to be looking after both drivers, not just one superstar at the end of the day. But then you could argue and say, well, if they lose Max Verstappen, is there any point in Red Bull staying in Formula One? You know what I mean? He brings in a lot of sponsorship, he brings in a lot of money to the team as well, which is always a key factor. So they've got to take that into account. Verstappen brings in a lot of merchandise sales as well, and a lot of media as well in the likes of Holland and in Belgium as well, and obviously England and in France and in Austria, the home of Red Bull. So yeah, you've got that to think about as well. But them bringing in Perez, is this good? Is this like a long-term thing for Red Bull? In my opinion, no, because Perez. But then again, though, I will actually get on to reasons why this might not be. Why this may or may not be a long-term thing, but I think on the whole, on the scale of things, they want someone in there to push Verstappen, but also to get extra points out of that second seat. And the likes of Gasly and Albon, they couldn't do that for obvious reasons. And I think Perez can really push Red Bull on, but it's all about what car have they got. Are they going to have we are going to challenge Mercedes, and they actually do challenge Mercedes for the title, or is it going to be we're going to challenge Mercedes in pre-season, but then comes to the first race of the season and you're about 5-6 tenths away from Mercedes? Oh, by the way, let's look at next season. What's that going to be about? It's going to be intrigue, and it really is, to be fair. But I would think though, Lyle, is probably a question back to you on this. Do you think Red Bull have now, with them employing Perez, have they now admitted that employing the likes of Gasly and Albon, they have made a mistake? They haven't openly not admitted it and said, yeah, we hold our hands up, we were wrong, we should have went with someone with more experience. Is this them saying we were wrong, or is this them just kind of putting in someone else for now because it was either have Albon for another year, which they know he might not be able to do the job like he was supposed to, and bring in Perez who can do the job, or do you think maybe this is something that Red Bull do want in the long term and the one Perez there for a number of years alongside supposedly Max Verstappen? Yeah, do you think this is a Red Bull holding their hands up and going, yes, we were wrong?
I hope so. I really do. Pierre Gasly has, obviously, yes, he won in Monza, but even before that, we knew there was a mistake, that Red Bull had made a mistake, or I did even. Yes, of course, I thought, I was about to think that before, in Danny Kvyat's case, obviously, before Spain happened, before Spain 2016 happened. But so I, of course, even putting aside my liking of Pierre Gasly, my Red Bull being a fan of, I thought that they'd made a mistake with Red Bull, with Pierre Gasly. It didn't really matter how good Alex was. I was just stuck to the fact that they'd made a mistake with Pierre Gasly. They shouldn't have got rid of him. Drive to Survive Series 2 makes, Christian Horner and Dieter Mateschitz and Helmut Marko, they thought he was like the worst thing that happened to Red Bull, that he was just going to, disconnect everything. And that was not the case. I don't really know why they were so fast to get rid of him. Obviously, his season has gone really well with AlphaTauri for sure. He's done such a good job, and as I say, that was even before his Monza win. He was battling Alex Albon, even if he wasn't anywhere near the Red Bull drivers, because obviously AlphaTauri, or let's say, Toro Rosso as they were a few years ago, they were nowhere near each other. Toro Rosso and Red Bull, back in like 2015, 16, they weren't anywhere near each other. Obviously, this year's the closest we've ever seen Red Bull and formerly Toro Rosso being close to each other. So I feel like they had made a mistake. Then obviously Gasly gets a win. Alex gets one podium, lucky one podium. Obviously, yes, he could have got that one in Austria, but he gets that one in Portimao for sure. And obviously, Red Bull's only double drivers on the podium this season. But the big thing is that, yeah, who was going to be, if Alex wasn't good enough, who was going to be replacing him? They can only go down their Red Bull Junior program, something that's been strained for a very long time, and something that they've basically, it's bone dry. It is bone dry. They've got Yuri Vips, they've got Daruvala, they've got Tictum. Obviously, they had Yuki Tsunoda, who they've now put in the AlphaTauri seat, who, again, he's probably their Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's probably their only hope, their last Red Bull Junior driver, if that makes sense. Because, as I say, the well was bone dry, it really was. And that was their only option. And that's why we got to these situations where, again, me and John were sitting here and we were talking amongst F1 friends and things like that. And we were saying, what are Red Bull going to do? Are they going to go somewhere else, down the Red Bull Junior program? Or are they going to re-sign Alex Albon? And yes, of course, I wasn't happy with the results. 7th place and just over 100 points isn't good enough for Max. It isn't good enough for the team. But I thought doing something else, they won't, and they can't. And they'd really shot themselves in the foot. Red Bull had shot themselves in the foot. And yes, I completely agree, Jordan. They'd made a mistake there, and there was nowhere to go. They were in checkmate. There was nowhere for them to get out of this situation. They have done a very good thing. I'm happy that they've signed Perez. They've got him out of a good situation. But they've made a bad decision. And the Red Bull name has been tarnished because of what they've done. They've destroyed the career of Gasly. Sorry, they try to destroy the career of Gasly. He obviously built himself up and he's in a great position. They've tried to destroy the career of Fiat. They did almost in 2017, obviously when he was dropped from Formula One altogether.
He was promoted to the team from their junior program to Toro Rosso, then from Toro Rosso to Red Bull, then from Red Bull back to Toro Rosso, then from Toro Rosso to dropped completely from the program. Then he got re-signed by Red Bull again to go back in the seat in 2019, and then before you know it, he's back on good form, and then they just drop him again without even saying a proper goodbye to him for the second time. I mean, that is disgusting behaviour from Red Bull, in my opinion, because, they were, we need an F1 driver for our sister team seat. Who are we going to go for? Oh, let's try Daniel Kvyat. Let's bring him back in. Do you want to be a part of it again? Yeah, no problem. I'll come back. He did a pretty good job, and then they just cast him aside and go, do you know how when drivers leave the team, they always say, thank you. They have thank whoever or thank you whoever, and they do have have like a nice little send off for them, like a photo or whatever. They didn't have any of that for Kvyat, and we knew Tsunoda was going in. It wasn't confirmed at the time, but Kvyat even said in the interview after the race, Tsunoda is replacing me. I'm leaving, and you're like, so what? Red Bull aren't going to give him a thank you and good night. He's just going to get out the door.
I think that was Red Bull.
Behavior,
I think that was Red Bull trying to fix the problem that they had made. The Red Bull Junior program, bring someone in that is going to make is going to do well. And actually, Helmut Marko, obviously, you'll remember those absurd things that he said beforehand, which was Yuki Tsunoda was actually going to go leapfrog AlphaTauri, leapfrog Fiat and Gasly, and go straight into that Red Bull seat. They've made a mess of their Red Bull program. They really have. Getting Sergio in, I would say, was a good save, but. And obviously Alex Albon wasn't showing his worth. But they've kept him on at the team, which is good. He is going to be going to DTM in 2021, or this year, I should say. And obviously he's staying in the third place role heading for 2022. So that looks promising. That, they're not completely giving up on him. Because if they did, John, and there's nowhere else that Alex could have gone, because I mean, again, there could have been, he could have gone back to AlphaTauri, which would have been stupid. That would have literally just. I mean, honestly, Red Bull give you such a headache, it really would have. But Yuki Tsunoda would have been in that seat, and obviously he's got a lot of back in Honda, their final season in Formula One. They want a Japanese driver in Formula One. So Yuki was almost the most safe person. Pierre Gasly is the anchor. He obviously 105 billion% he was going to be there for sure. The Red Bull situation was, of course, the one where it was hard to get your decision round. If they dropped Alex straight away, a little bit like what Jordan said there about obviously what they did with Danny Kvyat, they didn't fully kick him out. The 70% did, they kick him out of Red Bull. They don't have all the swing over Alpha or Toro Rosso, obviously Franz Tots and the people like that did. But who runs Toro Rosso? But Red Bull. So they almost did, let's say, 70-80% they ruined his career. So that would have been the case for Alex Albon. And just imagine if they kicked Alex Albon out of Formula 1 altogether. You've had a season and a half. We've built you up to be this amazing driver. You haven't. There you are. There's the bin. There's the well. Go away. That would have been anarchy, and that would have been a part where we would have been kicking off, and we'd have made many videos about this, having to go at Red Bull. They haven't. They've done a good job, okay? They've put him on the sidelines. They've benched him, which they benched him for a year for two things: for him to get hopefully himself more acquainted with the team. Obviously behind the sidelines, he won't be driving the car in season. Obviously, he'll be driving it in the tests and things like that. Obviously, he will be in DTM, so he'll be able to go to another type of racing, obviously, which again, if he stayed in Formula 1, he couldn't do. So hopefully, DTM will give him the chance to, get better behind the wheel and just a stronger race driver, because he's 24. It's not like it's not like you have to have made everything by 24. You can still find yourself. Perez is 30, and in no way, shape, or form do I think that he's done. And that kind of answers the question there that I posed to Jordan there. I feel like Sergio has got more in the tank, whether that's with Red Bull for the future, because we know they're a fast-paced team. Probably not with Red Bull for a few years. He might be here 1, 2, 3 years. It's really, really hard to say now. I'd love to see him on the track and make my decision there. But Sergio definitely has more in the tank. You don't have to be done by 24. So going back to Alex, third place driver, you can watch what's happening in the team by two pros, I would say. I'd say Perez is a pro. Remember, he won the race in Sakhir. That's a pro. He battled Fernando Alonso in 2012 in his second race in in the second race of the season. That's a pro. He went to McLaren to replace Lewis Hamilton. That's a pro. He battled Nico Hülkenberg and beat him in every single season. That's a pro. So yeah, I'd say Sergio Perez was a pro. But Alex, watch from the sidelines, get some experience, and hopefully get back into a better position, or maybe even Formula 1. And that's my question back to you, Jordan. Obviously, Alex Albon has said on Twitter a little bit about a day later, I think it was, that his focus was on 2022.
Yeah.
Obviously, Sergio Perez was going to be at the team for 2021. Of course, he was going to give everything. Because of the situation of him at Racing Point, we thought Sergio was going to retire. So him going to this team it doesn't seem like he's going to be here for a very long time. As I've just said, that it really depends on what we see on the track, and that's when we'll make our decision. It could go either way. It's really a 50-50 split in my decision, in my head right now, about whether he's going to stay. He's here for the long term. This is like a new start for him. Or actually, funny enough, guys, this is a little bit of an Easter egg for what our next video might be on about. Stay tuned to find out. So it's really a 50-50, isn't it? What is Sergio Perez here for the long run, or is he just going to be here for a season? But anyway, I'll say back to Alex Albon. His career, his trajectory is for 2022.
Yeah.
Third place driver, and then in 2022 he'll be either first or second at the team, depending on obviously what happens with the drivers. But himself, just to build himself up as a better driver and do what, as I say, Helmut Marko into Matt Shitzer promised him. So, do you think that Alex will be back on the Formula 1 grid in 2022? If not, where do you think he'll be? What's your foresight for Alex Albon, as I say, watching from the sidelines this season as third place driver and for next season? And also, do you think that's he's being replaced by Sergio this season, he'll replace him next season? What do you think for Alex? And do you think that his goal of 2022 Formula 1 will come true?
I mean, we're talking about Red Bull here, and we don't know what their next move is going to be, do we? We don't know what they're going to do next. They could, sign Mika Hakkinen out of a sabbatical for all we know. But if they did do that, I wouldn't be surprised. But in my view, I really don't know what they're going to do with Alex, if I'm honest. I don't even know what they're going to do with Gasly, let alone Alexander Albon for that matter. But I mean, yeah, he's doing DTM, which I suppose is better than nothing. He is going to get some racing experience behind him, but not quite Formula 1, but it's something, isn't it? And quite frankly, with what we're going through at the moment, if one of the drivers decides, if they're going to catch COVID for, either Verstappen or Sergio Perez, and definitely Albon will be drafted in to drive either one race, two races, however many races he is needed for them anyway. He might even get a couple of FP1 sessions as well, just to kind of get him, so he doesn't lose. He doesn't have a full year out of racing a Formula 1 car. He's going to get some testing under his belt as well. So that's going to be handy. I think having a year out and watching from the sidelines might help Albon, because yes, we did brag on about, blag on about the other Red Bull seat not being as good. It didn't suit Albon's style. I do think Albon did crumble under the pressure 100% as well. That was one of the factors as to why he didn't perform to the best of his ability. Definitely. So maybe a year on the sidelines, observing, watching what's happening, watching what's going down, what's happening on Verstappen's side, what's happening on Perez's side, and maybe observing and maybe come back in and being a totally different driver. It worked somewhat for Kvyat. He had a year away, didn't he, from Formula One. He was a bit... we knew the talent was there, but ever since he got knocked back from Red Bull, his confidence was shot. And he even said that himself, he was all over the place in his head once he got demoted from Red Bull, from the main Red Bull team back to Toro Rosso. So Albon's probably going through a similar kind of thing. Which is, it's not nice to see, because everyone says it. Some of you guys have said it in the comment section. I like Albon. I love Albon. Saying he is a good driver. I do like him. It's just maybe he wasn't ready for Red Bull. And maybe he wasn't. And it is upsetting to see maybe people say, Albon's a terrible driver. But then everyone said Gasly was a terrible driver, and everyone else hated Gasly at the time when he was doing bad. But now all of a sudden Gasly's everyone's favourite driver now. It's weird, you know what I mean? It's just how Formula One works. But what Red Bull do with Albon, I do not have a clue. Do I think he'll come back to Formula One? It'll all depend what they do with Yuki Tsunoda, because like Lal said earlier, and I've read this article a couple of times as well about various F1 journalists have said about Helmut Marko wanting to promote Tsunoda straight to Red Bull. I mean, that would have been ridiculous. Tsunoda is a good driver, but come on, you put a guy in who's had a couple of years of F1 experience. He's went in Red Bull seat, didn't work. Then you employed a guy with even less experience. That didn't work. So how is a guy with no F1 experience at all, is he going to make a difference? You know what I mean? Like, come on, Red Bull. Like, think about it, surely. I mean, they have got the talent in the ranks. It's just they're not ready for Formula One just yet. So I think eventually it'll get to a point where Red Bull have got no talent or no drivers ready to having loads of drivers ready, maybe into a point where they have to release one or two because there isn't enough room for all of them, because there is talent coming through and it is coming quick. Just maybe another year, a season, 2 seasons, maybe even longer than that before they are Formula One ready for that matter as well. But I think what they do with Albon, like I said, depends on Tsunoda, and what they do with Tsunoda, it all depends on what's going to happen at the main team at Red Bull. Now, this is where it gets a bit complicated as well, and this is what I said earlier about the whole Perez 1 year thing, what's going down, and Ian Lyle said, is it going to be a seat filler, is he not? And that's going to be the next kind of big and final thing we'll discuss on this. So Helmut Marko said that he wants Tsunoda in that Red Bull seat for, 2022. That's when he wants him in by. So that tells me then that Perez is only going to be there for 1 year. He's got a 1 year contract. If that is true, he wants Perez out and Tsunoda in, which then begs the question of, you've just killed Sergio Perez's Red Bull career before it's even begun, if you know what I mean. So straight away, he's got no plans for Perez being there, so why? You know what I mean? And then that begs the question of, well, is the move for Perez to go into Red Bull too late for him? Is he gone at the wrong time? Is this the worst time to go for him back to a top team? Because obviously, yeah, he had that stint in McLaren, but that didn't work for him because, quite frankly, the car wasn't that good. He finished in P11, I think it was only 2 or 3 points away from Nico Hülkenberg in P10. So, he nearly broke into the top 10. So that wasn't too bad. But is this too late for Sergio Perez going back? It depends what they do with Tsunoda. But then it also, what is going to happen with Max Verstappen as well? Because Honda are pulling out as well. He signed up to the Honda project. They're now pulling out. So what have Red Bull got to offer for Max Verstappen? He's saying, I want to be world champion with Red Bull, but we've got no engine beyond 2022. So, what are you going to give me? How are you going to give me world title with no bloody engine? You know what I mean? And then they've got to conjure up something for Verstappen. And if they don't satisfy Verstappen, then he's going to leave. So then do they keep Perez and put Tsunoda alongside Sergio Perez? That's like the situation that I'm saying Red Bull are in at the moment. But then do they scrap all that and bring in Gasly back? I don't know what's going to happen in Red Bull. I really don't know. It's so confusing right now. But I mean, Perez, it is the right choice bringing in Perez, definitely. But is this good for Sergio Perez's Red Bull for his Formula One career? only time will tell. I don't know this. I can't answer that right now because, quite frankly, we don't know how he's going to perform. We don't know. He might be there for another season. Who knows? I think he'll do really well. Will he beat Verstappen? I don't think he will, but I think it'll be a lot closer on tracks. I do hope that anyway. I do want to see that. But I cannot predict who's going to be there in 2022. It could be Perez and Verstappen. It could be Tsunoda and Verstappen. It could be Perez and Tsunoda. It could be Tsunoda and Gasly. It could be Hakkinen and Tsunoda. It could be, I don't know, they might sign Mick Schumacher. I don't know what's gonna go down. They won't sign Mick Schumacher. I'm being exaggerating there, but I don't know what's gonna go down. I would love to think they'll stick with Perez, but like I said, if they can't offer Verstappen anything good, is he going to stick around? Then what do they do? But that is a tricky one. It is a very tricky one. So Lyle, the question then back to you is what do Red Bull play now? What do they do now? They've got all these drivers at their disposal, which they could change at any given point. So where do you see the map panning out for Red Bull? What path do you think that they're going to go for? Because in my view, I don't know what their next move is going to be. What's their plan? Bringing in Tsunoda after a year, but what if he doesn't do well? Then, but you know what Red Bull are like? They don't care about form. Just bring him in, he'll be fine, because they've done that before and they'll do it again. So, yeah, what do you think Red Bull? What move do you think Red Bull will play next?
I think that they'll stand up from the chessboard and walk away. I mean, as I said, sometimes the Red Bull behind the scenes are, a bit like wacky and we don't really know. Obviously, I could give you all the views about, where all these drivers are going to be going, but actually one of the big things I want to kind of drop and leave is the fact that you said there, Jordan, about Max Verstappen. He was promised a Honda deal. Honda, of course, not here next year.
Yeah.
What's he going to do? Well, there we go. I think that could be an option, or it could be an opinion for why all these drivers are kind of sticking around. It's because Max could leave. Now, it's no secret that, of course, Red Bull is built around Max Verstappen. That's not just us saying that, as fanboys.
Yeah, it is true.
That's for sure true.
Yeah.
It's very similar to how it was when Sebastian Vettel was here, and if YouTube existed, it did. We didn't almost when Sebastian Vettel was obviously world champion. If we hit the YouTube in Sebastian Vettel's time at Red Bull, we would have been like millions of subscribers. We didn't. We missed the gun. But even if we were around then, we would have said that Red Bull Racing were built around Sebastian Vettel for sure. Yeah. That's no lie. Max and Seb are very similar on that level. So Max holds everything together, and if he does leave at the end of 2021 or the end of 2022 or whatever, then this could all collapse. And of course, Red Bull Racing have been in the team for over a decade. They are not a team to come in and out. There's a lot of money. Red Bull Racing, outside of the Red Bull energy drink company, this is actually the most money that Red Bull, the company, are actually spending. Not on air races or anything like that or sponsorship. It's the Formula One team. And again, that's why Red Bull is so well known, more than the energy drink company, I would say. So if Red Bull leaves, if Max Verstappen leaves, what are Red Bull going to do? Everything's going to go and collapse because Max was holding everything together. Say the anchor snapping off the ship, they're just going to sail away. They're going to. Their man has gone, that they've invested, that they've put loads of time in, that they've moulded from the ground up almost. So a reason, why all these drivers could be sticking around. And again, I said at the start about the Red Bull Junior program not being, sustainable like it used to be, is maybe because what they've done is they've kicked the can down the road. They've said, I tell you what, let's miss out, Formula Renault, Formula 3, all the different categories. Let's jump to F2. Well, actually, not even F2 anymore. And let's just stick with F1 and those circular drivers. Yes, of course, you have Formula 2 drivers. You have Yuri Vips. You have Daruvula, Dan Ticktum. There's probably a few more in there that I'm missing out. But the big ones is, of course, Yuki Tsunoda, who was promoted to F1 this year. But the big ones, as I've just said there, are the two AlphaTauri drivers of Yuki Tsunoda and Pierre Gasly. The two Red Bull drivers at the moment of Sergio and... Well, actually, no, you can't say Max, because Max can't replace himself. So Sergio Perez, of course, a Red Bull driver, and Alex, a third-place driver. So there's four drivers that, if Max leaves the team, can, fill the position of Max Verstappen. It wouldn't be ideal. Yes, they would have to start again. They'll have lost Max Verstappen, the man who probably could be, out of all those four drivers, the only one to win him the World Championship. And of course, if you we talked about that in our previous video about Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc. Go and check that out if you haven't already. We talk again about our views on Max winning the title with Red Bull, either this year or, of course, in the next few years. So Max is probably their only hope. But if Max leaves, instead of putting their head in the sand and saying, well, we're not a championship winning team anymore. This is terrible. We have got to fix this yesterday or leave. Instead of saying that, they'll say, I tell you what, let's start again. You know, we've got Sergio Perez. I tell you what, let's bring in Alex Albon. Let's make Perez number 1 driver. He's still good, and Alex Albon can be number 2 driver. Or let's bring in Gasly. Or let's bring in Tsunoda. You know, it's like it's not the end of the world for Red Bull to lose Verstappen. Of course it is, but the team will still be there, and that's probably maybe that's a reason why all these drivers are sticking about. As I said there as well, the big thing is about keeping that so-called Red Bull Junior program together. Red Bull drivers, people that they can put into that car. But for God's sake, Red Bull, don't do another trading places. That is a stamp. Do not do that, because you are, as well as you're ruining careers, which I know you're a business, you've got no mercy, you're like Cobra Kai. You're ruining your business. You're ruining Cobra Kai. You're ruining Red Bull Racing. And it's just not on. You can't do that anymore, Red Bull Racing. You just can't. So Sergio is in here at the moment. Max is here at the moment. Yes, you need a driver to support Max, get him the points. Yes, you need a good constructors finish for the money. And obviously, yes, you need the status of Max either winning or going for the World Championship. Again, we'll let that, up to you guys. Again, I'll say go and check our last video where we discuss is the possibility of Max winning this year a possibility. And again, that might change all the factors in the future. But Red Bull, just calm down. Just calm down. Don't rush into things. Just take a step back and just think about your options. But as a great team to stick around. But you might not be winning championships like you did with Sebastian. It doesn't have to be like that, Red Bull. Just, that's it. Calm down. Breathe in and calm down. It's simple, Red Bull. And if you need more time, just look up some meditation videos on YouTube. Hey, we're in lockdown. You've got the time. You've got all the time in the world to do that.
Exactly.
And whilst you're on YouTube, Red Bull Racing, and you guys out there, why don't you check out our channel? If you want to subscribe to us, then please check out our channel. We have so many more videos coming for you in 2021, including our first video, which blew up so well. Which of course is about Lewis Hamilton's contract with Mercedes. Our second video of the year, which is about Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc, his so-called rival. I say so-called because that Ferrari is nowhere near rivaling that Red Bull car. Hopefully they can get on the same wavelength and be true championship rivals in the future. Of course, that is literally what we signed up for. And of course, if you've enjoyed this video, please give us a like, and of course subscribe if you're new, and hit that notification bell, and you'll be notified every time we upload a video. Let us know in the comment section below everything we said in this video about Sergio Perez, Alex Albon, Max Verstappen, Red Bull, and their so-called Red Bull Junior program. Anyway guys, in the meantime, thank you so much for watching this video. Stay safe, and until next time, we'll see you later.
See you later, guys.